This episode of the Tribeman podcast is brought to you by Blue Burn Hat Company. It is a custom hat company located in Fort Pierce, Florida, run by Doug Batchelor. Now, this is a hat that they've done for my company, and by custom, I mean really custom. They added our logo, 2 feathers to match the feathers on our logo, and then even more specific, they put the numbers of the years, the dates that we opened our 3 facilities. So we're going to add their tag to the screen somewhere right around here. Hit them up. They have all kinds of different hats. They have the flat brim. They have the cowboy bent, the round top. They have tops like this. You know, he really meets with you and crafts a hat to meet your custom, your custom taste. So Blue Bar Hat Company, shouts. Welcome everybody back to the Tribeman podcast. This is episode 7. Again, you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. This week we have a little bit of a change of pace. Being the host of the show, I figure you guys should get to know who I am. So I've asked a scrub to come in and fill my seat and interview me. So with that, we're going to do the switch up right now, and I'm going to give myself a round of applause. And a long one, too, until I get to my seat. He can turn it off.
All right, everybody.
Show got real shanty quick.
There we go. Hold on. Hello, everybody. My name's Ken Link. What a wonderful introduction Tom gave me. Is this off? The applause?
The applause?
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Edgar. All right. So a little change of pace. I'll be interviewing Tom today. I know there's a lot of anxious people out there waiting for this one. So let's break right into it.
All right, let's go.
I have I wanted to start with. I do have a gift for you.
Oh, thank you.
I got this shirt for you 2 months ago, and I forgot to give it to you. So
I'm still waiting on my Christmas
I think
gift,
it's
too.
very fitting for Tom, so I'm going to show everyone. Read that for us, Tom.
It says, "May the bridges I burned light my way." That's right.
Perfect shirt for Tom. Perfect.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep, you got it. So, tell us your name and your zodiac sign, if you will.
All right. So my name's Thomas James Maguire III, but really I'm the 4th. My great grandfather came over, and his name was spelled. They took the H off Thomas to Tomas because he was so darkly complected. But he was 4'9". He fought the Nazis in World War II. He had a bad left eye. He was blind on his left eye, and he had bad teeth. I found his what do you call it? The military card when he joined, the draft card, on Ancestry.com. But yeah, I'm Thomas James Maguire III, and my zodiac sign is a Libra. I'm not really big into the zodiac sign, so I really don't know what it means. But I don't know if you know anything about a Libra, but
I don't at all.
Yeah, I'm a Libra.
I don't know. I just thought it was a cool thing to add. I think, God, 4'9".
That was my great grandfather. Yeah, yeah.
The people he killed must have been all shot from the waist down. Where are you from?
Oh, sorry. So I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I stayed there until about 3rd grade, and then my family moved me out of Philadelphia to Marlton, New Jersey, where I went to the middle school and high school.
What did you like most about the city?
The city, I guess the camaraderie of the city, the communal living of the city. You know what I mean? The fact that everybody was a family, everyone's house is right there. There's always a lot of stuff to do. Kids in the street, that part of it.
And then what did you like about moving to the suburbs?
That I got to see a life outside of city jobs. So grow up in the city. A lot of the fathers have union jobs. They work for the city. And then once I got to South Jersey, I got to see that there was white collar ways to make business where you didn't have to work 80 hours a week, where you could have your money work for you and be able to see your kids as much as possible. Yeah. So that kind of it opened my mind to that there was other things to do besides join PGW or the fire department or the union.
Yeah, it opens up your avenues of travel throughout life, I feel like.
Yeah. What
do you do for a living?
So I don't like saying this because it sounds like a jerk off thing to say, but I own 3 drug and alcohol treatment centers named Tribe Intensive with my partners, obviously Ken Link, Bill Marshall, Mark Warner, phenomenal staff. We save people's lives.
And what led you to start your own treatment center?
Well, I've gotten fired from every single job that I've ever had besides Tribe Intensive. And the only reason probably I haven't got fired from there yet is because I am my own boss. But my claim to fame is that I've never gone on a job interview where I hadn't gotten the job, but
But I've gotten fired from every single job I ever had, including the one before Tribe. And the only reason I got fired there is because they found out that I was opening up Tribe. So I really don't think that was a warranted firing. But it's a joke in my family. We drive around town, in my hometown, and they point to all the places that I worked at before.
Do you have any regrets about starting Tribe?
No, not one single regret. There's a lot of stuff that happened along the way that wasn't optimal, but I believe it made it what it is today. So I'm a real firm believer. Tribe taught me a lot of things. The road to Tribe, that everything does happen for a reason. People that you think are in your corner that might not be, or people that you didn't think were in your corner that came into your corner. You really find out who your supporters are, and then through the trials and tribulations of running a business, you get better at it.
And I will say, through different circumstances, me and Tom have always joked that we have God on our side, because there's been numerous situations where, if you run a business, that it comes to, it comes down to the wire sometimes, whether it be finances, payroll, whatever it may be. And we've, texted each other back and forth at different times and been like, this happened at just the right time, man. It's funny.
I think it's even more specific. I think it's our ancestors looking out for us beyond the grave. And when I text you, I'm like, it must be your aunt this time, or my grandfather got us. I really think we're helped beyond the grave divinely.
For sure. I believe that too. I really do. So I kind of want to, I know you're a family guy, so I want to break into that a little bit. I want to hear more about Tribe, obviously. I want people to know what Tribe is and stuff like that, but I want them to get to know you. So what's your favorite thing about being a dad?
Oh, man. Favorite thing about being a dad? I would say that it gives me an entry level back into my childhood. You get to go through all that stuff again and really get into that level with them. And I would say the chambers of love that it opened up in my heart that weren't there before. It's hey, I get emotional. I'm like crying about it right now. Just thinking about it. But just like I haven't even said her name yet, and it just makes me emotional. It's just and I wasn't there before at all. So
and you have a daughter. Daughters are like they really open you up as dads.
It's everything, dude. It's everything. Like I'm a real big believer. Like Elon Musk looks at everything through the lens of what his biggest goal is trying to. So right now, his biggest goal is trying to get on Mars, right? So everything he sees is through the lens of is this going to get us to Mars faster or slow us up? So everything through my lens is this better for my daughter's life in the future or not? And like I'm such a selfish motherfucker to think that I would even think about somebody else like that so much. It's crazy. Like I wasn't even there before, so it's like it
but I think who you were before you had her and who you are now, it changes you. It definitely changes you for the better. Makes you a better person.
I was only looking out for the feet under my knees. Well, now I'm looking for the feet that are stepping beside me or behind me now. You know what I mean? That's what I'll say.
Absolutely. And what's your least favorite thing about being a dad?
Just the fact that it's inevitable that I'm going to fuck up my child in some way. Everything that comes from, every struggle or trauma or whatever, it's all comes from, childhood and stuff like that. So just knowing that there's going to be some kind of issue she deals with later that I caused, it's inevitable. That's a struggle to me. I try to be as careful as I can with that. But just the fact that I am conscious of that while I am raising her makes me feel like I'm a good dad. You know what I mean? I don't... I want to limit the damage. So that way, if she is damaged by something I did, it's something I didn't know. I only know what I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the fact that I'm actively trying to keep that in my mind and also seek out, in certain situations, what is the best way to handle things? Ask people, But yeah, just the fact that it's inevitably that we're going to mess them up some way.
Yeah, and I think we both come from great parents. I think that we use their example and see what they did. Mm-hmm. That maybe they slipped up along the way, maybe not consciously, but I feel like everybody's human and it's just bound to happen. But as long as the kids know that, as long as she knows that you love her when she lays her head down at night, I think that's all that matters.
It's the same thing as Tribe and everything else in life. Like you got to go through the bumps and the grinds to realize what it is. You know what I mean? And if you can learn from your parents and even their parents, it makes you first you demonize your parents, then you empathize with them because then you look at what their what they were raised in. It really parenting really makes you more compassionate for everybody in life. It really does.
Yeah. And I know this is a little bit of a deeper question, but what do you through your life travels, you've slipped up, you've gotten yourself back, you've slipped up again, you've gotten yourself back on track. So what's your purpose in this life? What do you believe your purpose is?
Other than be a good father and get my kid to the finish line, and my personal purpose, I believe, is that I want to show people that not only like the people who fuck up, they can pick yourself back up again, but really I want to show people that people who fuck up can pick themselves back up again, and their success is only as success only goes as far as the help that they have around them. So don't write nobody off. I mean, me at 24 years old, I mean, you easily could have wrote me off. I was a piece of shit, you know.
Yeah.
Drugs, you know, alcohol, you know, no work ethic, couldn't hold a job, wasn't paying my bills. But now me at 36, just what, 12 years later, I'm in 3 treatment centers. By God and everything else, but just by doing the right thing. But that shows you, you know. So I think just being an example of that, you know what I mean? That for people who are going through struggles and they can make it out of it, but also for people who are watching people go through struggles, they need a helping hand.
Could that be like I was just thinking, could that be a reason you started this to be? Maybe bring some of that to light?
I started this because I finally found something that I was working in treatment in another facility, and there's a lot of things I liked about it. But there were a few things that I didn't like about it that I thought, you know, that me and a couple of my friends who had worked at other treatment centers could do better, you know. And
but the Tribeman podcast. Is
the Tribeman podcast?
Because I feel like a lot of your guests have been through struggles and have gotten through it. I mean, that's a common thing.
For sure. And like I think a lot of podcasts are like they interview celebrities, like, how can I get the most hits?
Yeah.
I just want to show like there's a lot of cool people in everyday life. Yeah. Like I get people like, you know, I have a 3-foot rule. So if I'm in Marshalls and I'm smelling candles and someone comes within 3 feet of me, I have to learn I have 3 questions I have to find out about them: their name, where they're from, and their occupation. Because I figure you could find out a lot about a person from their name, where they're from, and their occupation. You know, so it's just like highlighting people who I think are cool as shit in the community. Because not everybody gets to meet Aaron Judge, or if they look at, or gets to meet Dustin Poirier. You know, to meet the role model like that. But there's a lot of role models in everyday community. You know what I mean? That I think people could look up to.
I think that's a cool rule too. I mean, it could open a lot of doors for you too. I mean, if everyone lived by that, I think it would bring the community closer together. You learn more about people every day, and those people that you normally wouldn't talk to, you're kind of forcing yourself to talk to, and who knows, that might open up a friendship that lasts forever. You never know.
And put it this way, like just hypothetical situation, like Da Vinci Spano, right? Just say he listens to a podcast. At Da Vinci's age, they taught us that you either had to go to college, and if you get into a good college, you had to go to the military. And if you didn't do either one of those, you went to community college, you were a loser, right? So it was either college, military, and at the bottom of the barrel went to community college. I have a plumber on, and I interview a plumber, and we find out that he makes $210,000 a year, and he did 4 years working for another company, apprenticeship, and by his 5th year, he was. Doesn't that look appetizing?
Yeah.
That was never brought up to us before. No. You know what I mean? So it's like there are other, because not everybody's meant to sit in a classroom and become a lawyer. That's not everybody.
I love
you
that.
know, so it's like that's why I want to highlight these people too.
No, it's very true. I love that. What is a moral or standard that you're willing to die on a hill for? What you're not willing to give up?
Loyalty. Loyalty.
I knew that was going to be your
loyalty to the people. Like, you know, I mean, me and you, we fight all the time. I mean, it's less and less. But when I said we fight less and less, but when we fight, it's fucking a big one, and it's almost immediately over. You know, but because I'm married to you in business and life. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm here with you forever. I got loyalty. Even if I'm having a falling out with somebody who's in my group and we're not seeing eye to eye, I'm never going to talk shit on them either. You know, it's just loyalty. It's just being there for your people. You know what I mean? And then, you know, yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah, I always, what sticks out to me is that Conor McGregor quote he has is when he's talking about it, like he's just not willing to
eat people he wouldn't start with.
Yeah, he's not willing to budge on that.
Yeah.
I think that's important, especially this day and age. I mean, it's hard. People are always looking for the leg up, trying to get ahead. You know, especially in business. I feel like business is a very cutthroat thing, and I've always stood by that. It doesn't need to be like that. I don't know why it would need to be like that, but in order to reach a certain level, I feel like you kind of do have to get kind of ruthless. But I think we've proven that you don't really have to be too ruthless like that.
No,
it doesn't have to be like that.
Not at all. But then also, I will say a caveat to that is that you can't expect 100% loyalty from everyone you have a good relationship with. So you can just have casual relations with people, and you don't have to expect them to be 100% loyal to you. You know what I mean? And sometimes
I think that's where you slip up.
I do that because when I'm your friend, you know, like I've known Edgar probably 7 weeks. You know, our producer here who won't be on camera. Yeah. But like I consider him a friend. Like when you're my friend, you have all my faculties. You know, any friend that I have, like, you know what I mean, like every connection I have, if you
got the keys to the truck.
Yes. So and then, like, you know, I have to realize that not, like, my famous quote from my father, not everyone was raised like you. You know what I mean? So you can't fault people for how they're raised. And like I'm starting to learn that. You know, so keep my expectations low. You know what I mean?
That's something we all can take from. Expectations are they're a killer. Who was the most influential person for you in your younger years?
I mean, shout out to my mother and father because they've always, I mean, A+ across the board.
People.
Yes,
but
I would say influentially, like I would say my grandfathers, because my parents both worked a lot. You know, my dad worked 2 jobs, my mom always worked.
Had to.
So during the days that they were working, they say summer and stuff like that, my grandfathers watched me. My one grandfather was a bookie, and my other grandfather was a Navy SEAL and Philadelphia cop. So I kind of had both sides of the tracks. But they talked to me like I was an adult, and they talked to me. Parents parent you. You know what I mean? They kind of, they taught me the reason behind things and why they did things the way they did. And as the older I get, their ways make more and more sense to me. You know what I mean? So it's like, and just the pride that I have for their name. You know what I mean? Now, since I got my shit together, because they never really got to see me be successful. But I know they're helping me. You know what I mean? They were really, Thomas Aquinas Milligan and Thomas James Maguire, two guys. I definitely.
Yeah, I think I wanted to ask that question because I feel like it can, like, we obviously respect our parents and love them for what they've done for us, but I think when you're growing up, you have this relationship with your parents that's like they're trying to tell me what to do. You're always trying to buck the system with them. But then when you get with like a grandparent or an uncle or an aunt, it's like they're not ultimately responsible for you. So it's like, you're not always butting heads with them, so you can kind of sponge up more in that time and actually realize what you're sponging up. Like in the future, I realized how much my father and mother did for me, but it wasn't until I was older that I realized that.
And another thing that I saw is my mom's a tough bitch, tough lady, but only person I've ever seen her listen to is her father. So when he would come over, you know what I mean, my punishment got a little lighter, you know what I mean, or he'd stall me off a punishment, you know what I mean,
give you a little wink on the side.
Yeah, we're like, hey, so like, that's all. And then my grandfather could do the same thing to my dad too, you know what I mean. So it was cool to see them be kids again in front of their parents.
That's awesome. I love that. To other men out there, what's your best advice for navigating a breakup?
Ooh, man, I would say don't be first off, put your thing away for a little while. You know what I mean? Don't just out of emotion jump on the next thing right there.
Nice.
Because obviously, take the time to figure out what you want in life and what you are. You know what I mean? Because obviously, what you were working towards in the previous relationship didn't work out for a reason, and there's probably no relationship's 100% blame on one side, so there's probably some things you need to work on as well. And during that time, it's lonely. It's it's heartbreaking. It's it's a sad time. But just be around your friends. If you're a guy, be around your boys and your family. You know what I mean? And laugh, have good times, keep it light, and don't be afraid to talk about it. I mean, I bent your ear to the point of annoyance. You know what I mean? But I bent your ear because I didn't want to vocally do it elsewhere. Yeah. Sorry, we had a little mic cut out there. But I would say take time to work on yourself, and then mainly, if you could really do it, take 2 years off and become the prize, because it's a lot better being the prize than looking for one. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? It's like get your fitness in check. Focus the time if you have kids on your life with your kids.
Better yourself. Yes,
like get in the different circles. I joined PTA. You know what I mean? Not to meet moms, but just to be out in the community. You know what I mean? To be healthy, to be involved, to keep my mind off things. I joined MMA to keep my mind off things. It just I kept myself busy with productive habits because, there was a good early period of time where I sat there and I just dwelled on it and thought about it, and you know what I mean? It got down on myself. What could I do better? And then there was the whole fuck her phase and up. But it just, as soon as you just realize, hey man, I just gotta put some effort into myself. It didn't work out, and just I would really take time to figure out who you are, what you like. Experiments and stuff. It's because being in a relationship's kind of it kind of pins you down a little bit. Those free periods really aren't there as much. So take the time to do that. I wasn't in MMA before. I watched it, but now look how into it we are. You know what I'm saying? So it's like but surround yourself with good people. You know what I mean? To keep things light.
Yeah, I think when you were super hyper focused on it, that's when you would get in your head. But then when you kind of like started doing that other stuff is when you kind of broke away from that. So I think that's good advice.
And it's tough too, man. You really need good friends too, because like one's like you for one, and my little sister. She, you guys called and reminded me who the fuck I was too when I was feeling sad, and down on myself and stuff like that. So good people put me out of it too. Yeah, you gotta have good people in your corner that are gonna be like, it's not the end of the world. Like look where you're at. Look where you used to be. Look where things could go. I don't know. I just feel like it's always, for someone that's in a relationship, it's always going to be easier to be like, buck up, man. Like, let's go. But you have to have those people. And if you do all these things that I'm saying, 100% guarantee that after it's all over, you'll be happy it all happened. Yes. You'll grow from it. It wasn't meant to be. All right. So what's your fitness routine for staying fit and active? I know you like to stay fit and active. I know you got a lot of things going on in the garage. So you tried to copy me with the Dad Dojo. I get it. So what do you do to stay active? All right. Well, first off, overthinkers, which I am, burn 1,800 more calories a day than non-overthinkers. Look it up. No wonder the way I look the way I am. But yeah, I would just say don't overeat, man. You know what I mean? Don't eat when you don't have to. Don't eat out of boredom. You know, I try to stick to I eat between the hours of 12 and 8 o'clock. 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. That way, you know, gives your body some time to digest your food. You know, I still eat Chick-fil-A every once in a while. I love a Taco Bell, cheesy gordita crunch every once in a while. But, you know, basically move. You know what I mean? Functional movement. You know, I swear by the sauna. You know, it's helped me get vascular and stuff like that.
A while.
Yeah, but I would say that I do basic gym. I don't have that many. I bench press. I do my curls. I do the tricep pull downs. And for MMA, I mean, for cardio, I hit a bag because running's too boring for me.
Yeah, you are the quintessential just keep moving guy.
Yeah, it's functional fitness.
It's not like you're doing anything extra like David Goggins.
No. I'm just looking I'm looking to look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and this kind of leads into the next question. What do you make of the current state of physical fitness in the U.S.? 75% of our population is going to be obese by next year.
See, I think we made it too easy to be lazy in this country. I remember, like, when my mom, during summers, when my mom went to work, we were outside. She came home, let us in for lunch, you know, but we were out playing, you know. We weren't locked out, but we were out, you know. And then also, like, with the video game culture now, I mean, and that, like, I mean, there's so many people just sitting on the couch where they're normally outside. And then just the overeating culture also, you know. And then also, it's not controversial take, but it's not okay to point out that somebody's out of shape anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it drives me crazy that, you know, we own treatment centers, and obviously we're surrounded by the recovery field, and you have all these people in the recovery field preaching about, like, you know, how their life should be, you know, put drugs down, better your life, da-da-da, and they're sitting there 400 pounds. It's like, come on, use that serenity prayer to surrender yourself onto the, you know, on the treadmill, you know what I mean? But yeah, surrender to Burger King, you know what I'm saying? But it's like it's a conscious choice, and it affects everywhere in your life. You know, you're not living an optimal life. And I'm not saying everyone's got to be in pristine shape, you know what I mean? But you have to be making an effort. But just look at like there's no excuse. I'm too old. I'm too this. I'm too far gone. Prime example. She's gonna hate that I brought this up, but when Kim Watson started working for us, she was an out of shape 40-year-old woman. Now she's a 40-year-old woman who, you know, walking on the street with her daughter,
is a beast.
Looks like an older sister. You know what I mean? Hot as a fox. But it's like, you know, there's no excuses.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's an effort thing.
You could say the same about me. I mean, you literally shamed me into change.
Because you're better than that. Yeah, you're better than that.
I let myself go after I had my first child, and you know, I needed that. Like, I'm a person that feeds off that stuff. So like someone insulting me and making jokes about me, and like it puts me in a mode where, like, all right, you got to get your act together.
You're a phenomenal athlete growing. I'm just looking at you. You're a phenomenal athlete growing up. You went in the fucking military. You went through boot camp. You're phenomenal fucking shape, and you're 40 pounds overweight. Like, nah, I ain't letting you do that. Yeah. So I'd rather you get mad at me at a football, you know, a few dozen fat jokes.
And to be honest, like other dads, I feel this in my heart. Like, other dads need to talk to other dads like that. Like, it's a fucking disgrace if you're fat, out of shape, and can't take care of your family. Like, if something's happening and your family needs you to get them out of a certain situation, you're gonna feel like shit if you can't do it. I'm not willing to let you live that down. Yeah. With that, like, maybe possibly losing their lives because you couldn't keep your shit together.
And also, what I've added now, because I'm really good at fat shaming, but I also give like when I see a dad getting it, working out, like I see Richie Bryant running through the woods in the mountains in fucking North Jersey.
He's up to something.
Yeah, dude, that motherfucker's a monster. But yeah. I'll tell you, yo, dude, get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I give praise too. Like, yo, like, dude, see you.
Could lift a Volkswagen, but also run 7 miles.
He might be the 7th Avenger. I don't know.
All right, moving on. What do you enjoy most about Tribe, and why?
All right, so I was thinking about this question. I was saying the thing I enjoy most about Tribe, because I look at Tribe as like, it was a sperm inside my body. I impregnated you. You had a baby, and then the community that came through it and the staff that works there raised the baby, and now it's grown to a thing where it's like we created it, and now it's just taking on a life of its own. I mean, it's on. I see it on MMA fighters' shorts when they're walking out to fight. I see it on baseball teams' uniforms, men's league and little league. You know, we have several people have the logo tattooed on their body. You know what I mean? It's taken on a life of its own and a brain of its own. It's like, you know, and that came from me and you. An idea in my head. I found a good partner, and we made it what it was. We birthed it, and it just.
You made entrepreneurial love to me.
Yeah,
and impregnated me.
Yeah, and then but we didn't. You know, we didn't control it. You know what I mean? We set the parameter for it and let it go. You know what I mean? And then
and it took its own path. I think that's awesome. And I think that's you can attribute that to the community too. Like we were kind of, I say this all the time, we caught the ass end of like a really good community here, you know. And when we started Tribe, it was still in that mode where there was like great people that kind of supported it and got around it. There was some people that hated, but of course that's going to come in any form of business that you start. There's going to be some haters, but the people that rallied around you, I think, let it kind of take its own path, which was really cool.
And I'm a control freak, and then you were good with this too. Like, help me, because I realize that I can't be hands on and run a successful company. You know what I mean? I let people do their thing.
Yes.
Do their thing.
You kind of that's a good thing to learn, though. I feel like as a CEO of a company. This is a cool question. I'm really looking forward to hearing your answer for this. With the current political scene, who would you choose to be president if you couldn't choose the current candidates?
All right, so
because I feel like in this country we have the greatest country in the world, and these are the people we have to choose from. I think it's a sin, to be honest. I mean, I feel like there's way better people out there, and I want to hear who you have in mind.
all right, so like my thought process is when the founding fathers founded the country, a person who was running the country, a politician, was somebody who made it in life in another career, made their wealth in another career, and felt like it was their duty to give back to the country that provided them with the arena to make their wealth. So it was people who weren't career politicians being politicians to make money. Am I out? Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good.
So it was like, people. How we doing? Is it coming back in? We got it?
Technical difficulties.
Sorry. So people were successful in life in a different venture other than politics. Like Nancy Pelosi, who's made no more than $179,000 a year in her life, and she's worth $120 million. That's a career politician. That's not somebody who should be in politics. But an example of somebody who I think would be a good politician. First off, I don't think anyone should be elected president who didn't serve our country. So by that, I wouldn't be eligible. But I look at guys like his last name's slipping right now. His first name's Jack. He found an enterprise rental car, right? So he was he flew fighter jets for the Navy, I believe, and in one of the world wars, and he started. He worked at a rental. He worked as a car salesman.
Okay.
And when people were bringing in their cars for service, he started another company within that company, renting cars out to the people whose cars were
Smart.
Yeah. So long story short, he built up his company to what it is now, Enterprise Rent a Car, and where it gets his name is Enterprise is the aircraft carrier that he flew was USS Enterprise.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's somebody who served his country, built up his own brand, and through the the American Dream system. And did it well. Like all of his employees like him. It's a well-run, well-respected company, and
understands leadership.
Yes,
Understands.
He made it through life.
Ledge,
yes,
yeah.
So like I wouldn't elect a teacher in business school to run my company. You know what I mean? But I would let someone who ran a business successfully teach my kid business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of attributes you have to look at for a position like that. Like someone who. I have a lot of respect for people who start businesses and try and step off that ledge. Because I remember the conversation we had before we started Tribe, and it was like I just had my son. We were. It could have went bad, It could have flopped on its face, And then where would I be? And I just had faith in myself. I understood that if I worked hard and I did everything I could, that it probably wouldn't fail. So but a lot of people are just unwilling to take that step. I feel like, and having that attribute, I think, is important in politics and knowing like to trust your judgment and trust the people around you, just like you were talking about earlier.
You gotta be a little crazy though. I mean,
a little bit of crazy.
We were both making over $100,000 a year. We were both fucking.
I wasn't making more than $100,000 a year.
I was
at the time. I was not.
You already had a child. Mine was a couple months from being born. Yeah, man, you gotta be a little crazy to roll the dice. But what's the alternative? Not taking a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in a condo at the time. I wanted more for myself. I knew I was meant for more. So that's kind of what helped the decision for me. So let's go here with this. Do you have any tips for new entrepreneurs starting a business?
I would say you're only as good as the people around you. Don't try to be Rambo. Don't try to do it by yourself. That is the most important. Like they always say customer is the most important person. It's not. It's people that's taking care of your customer. Put your money back into your company and your people. People are everything, man. And don't be afraid. Like I always say, my catchphrase is Angelo's Pizza's widely known as the best pizza in Philadelphia.
Shout out Angelo's.
So if you could take my pizza from Elio's to Angelo's, I think you deserve a slice. You know what I mean? So it's like find good people. Don't do it by yourself. And you want some people around you who have some skin in the game too. They can't just leave you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, Tribe, for instance. God, it's the people made it. The people made it for sure. And then even other companies. With my landscaping company, it's like I had Pete, which was he was at Tribe. I mean, he's a good guy, just a genuinely good guy. Would do anything for a business, and I think it's important to have people like that. People that buy into the culture.
And then it's on you to recognize those people and then reward them for the because they're so hard to find.
Absolutely, I agree. We all have changing the theme here a little bit. We all have a youth sports story that brings us glory. What's yours?
I would say just whole experience. My youth baseball team, the Evesham Tribe, where we get our name from, we went to Cooperstown, New York, Field of Dreams, and we played in a tournament there. And like all the stadiums are kind of replicated after major league stadiums, and you get to stay in like little army barracks with your team on bunk beds and stuff like that. Yeah. But I would say my favorite sports moment ever was we're playing a really hard team. My kid brother came along for the trip, and he was the bat boy. And it was one of the last games, and I hit a double off the top of the wall, almost a home run off the top of the wall. And it wound up being a double, and my dad sends my brother to pinch run, his first action ever.
Gregor.
Yes. And next pitch, line out to second, he gets doubled off second base.
Greg.
to end the game.
Fundamentals.
It's awesome. He was a kid though. He didn't. The helmet was all big. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's my moment.
He got stumbled up second base. It's all right, Greg. Let's go here with this. What would the title be of the book about you if your worst enemy wrote it?
Formidable.
Formidable?
Yeah, I like to think because no punch I ever throw, every punch I ever throw is a counter punch. I don't like to start shit with nobody, but I'm not afraid of it either. And I think anyone who's ever come against me, they weren't, they knew they were in a fight when they left. You know what I mean? So formidable. Like if you're coming, it's going to be a fight.
I like that. I kind of like that. Many people would describe you as an asshole. What would you say to these people who might not know you on a personal level?
All right, gotta quote my man Marvin Gaye. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. And there are people who I've been an asshole to. I would say anyone who knew me before I put drugs down and they say I was an asshole, probably I was. And I apologize for that. That's not who I was. Yeah. That's not who I am. Anybody after that fact, I would say anybody that I did anything asshole-ish to, like I said, it was a counterpunch. Now, where I have learned is that my philosophy before is kind of like the United States during nuclear war. If North Korea sends one nuke at the United States, we send 82 in return. Just to eliminate the fact of further damage. So if someone took a shot at me, I would overkill. And sometimes you can just walk away. You kind of write somebody off. There's no need to. Not everyone needs to think. If you have a disagreement with somebody, you don't necessarily want them to leave thinking that you're an asshole, because then those people know people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's all part of maturing too as a person.
But yeah,
especially as a man.
But I would say don't. If you have any kind of personal experience with me, don't judge me good or bad, and don't do that with anybody.
Yeah, just kind of get you in a room and talk to you. I think that would help a lot of people. Yeah. And the final question: what's next for you?
So like I said, I look at everything. Elon Musk looks through everything through the Mars lens. Right now, I'm looking at everything through the Tribe lens. I think I owe it to Tribe and everyone involved to do that, to get us to where we want to go there. But after Tribe, I will say everything will be looked at through the lens of love. That sounds corny, but like I want to love the people I'm working with. I want to love what I'm doing, and I want to love spread love with it. You know what I mean? So say whether it's I have a cousin who's a plumber and he's working for somebody else for 5 years, and hey, Jimmy, how about we go on our own? Here's your money. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Or for me and you, like I found a partner that I work well with. You know what I mean? So I think that we're not done doing business ventures together. I think something with MMA and Dan Donaldson's in our future. I also want to do something with my family members. I think it's kind of counter. But I own an addiction treatment center now. But I always had a dream of open up a pub with my family.
There you go.
A pub restaurant with my family, like a good time pub. Yeah. Just all of us have peace of too. So
you think you all would get along?
If I had nothing to do with it, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. That's
I
it.
Guess that's it.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Us
out. All right, so take us out. Tell them where they can find us.
All right, so this is this was the 7th episode of the Tribeman podcast where I interviewed Tom Maguire. He's your normal host. I hosted this one, and you can find us on Spotify and YouTube.
All right, hit me with an applause, dude. Thank me again.
Hey.